Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to my channel Green Crystal. Today I'm here with 9th standard science chapter 6 tissues. Okay, so we all know that all living organisms are made up of cells. Some of them are unicellular and some of them are multicellular. So in unicellular organism, we know that there is only a single cell and that only cell perform all basic functions. For example, we know in amoeba, a single cell carries its movement, intake of food and respiratory gases, respiration, excretion, etc. But in multicellular organisms, there are millions of cells. There are millions of cells in the multicellular organism, and most of these cells are carrying specialized function. Okay, each specialized function has been taken up by different group of cells. So, as we knew that in multicellular, million of cells will be there. I'm taking the example of human. So each function, what I told is each function has been taken up by a group of cells. These group of cells we are calling it as tissues. So we know that muscle cells, what does it do? It contract and relax the muscles and help us in movement. Nerve cells, it carry the messages and give the impulses, give the sudden reaction and all. Okay, and in plants we say vascular tissues, xylem and phloem. What does they do? They conduct the food and water. Okay, so here that means what, multicellular organism shows the division of work or activities among themselves. So each activity, either it is a digestion, respiration, circulation of blood, muscle contraction or anything. In plants, movement, photosynthesis, many other things. Okay, many other activities. Each activities has been given to certain group of cells. You have to do this, you have to do this, like how we are doing in a group. When we are working in a group, when we are doing some project, you have to do this, you have to collect the amount, you have to bring this, you have to do this, like that. So same thing in the multicellular organism. What does they do? What has been done is multicellular organism shows the division of work or activities. So they are forming the group. Okay, they are grouped to perform the particular function, and these group are called as tissues. Group of cells similar in structure and function. So this is the definition of tissue. What is tissue? Tissue is a group of cells which are similar in structure and function. They work together to achieve a particular function. Got it? A question arises. Are plant and animal made of same type of tissues? Do they have same structure? Do they have same functions? Isn't it? As we all know that plants are stationary, they are fixed. Similarly, when compared to the plant, when comparing the plant and animal, plants are fixed, but animal are not fixed. They can move. Plants do not move. Plant just move at one fixed place. at one fixed place, they just move here and there. But animal can move anywhere. So animal has to work for their food. Animal has to walk for their food. But plant, what they are doing, they are fixed at one place and they are preparing their own food by the process called photosynthesis. They don't move. That's why they don't need much energy. They need tissues for the support. The plants, they need tissues for the support, for the structural strength. That's why most of the cells in the plants are dead cells. Due to it is dead cells, so less maintenance is needed. Not much maintenance. Okay. But in animal, when we are comparing the plants with animal, they move, they mate, they reproduce, they work hard to get food. Isn't it? So, they consume more energy compared to the plant. Each and every cells, almost each and every cells are living cells. Almost each and every cells are living cells here in plant. Here in animals. Okay. In plants, most of the cells are dead cells, and in animals, what I'm telling, almost each and every, because there are some dead cells also, you will understand in coming classes. So they consume more energy because almost each cell is a living cell. Got it? Also, so another difference is growth. In plant, the growth is limited to certain parts of the plant. In animal, every part has to grow. Okay, next, growth in the living tissues. Living tissues are less in the plant, and almost all the tissues are living in the plant. In animal, living tissues are distributed depending on the part where growth is needed. In plant, living tissues are distributed depending on parts where growth is needed. But when compared to animal, different organs are designed to perform different functions. Okay. So these are the main basic difference between the plants and animals when we see its functions and its tissues, its type of cells and all. Okay. So now what was our question here? Are plant and animal made of same type of tissue? No, they are not made up of same type of tissue. Do they have same structure? Again, no. Do they have same functions? Again, no, because their anatomy is different. Their internal function is different. Their need is different. So, their tissues also have different structure, different function and different shapes. Let's move on to plant tissues. So plant tissues basically divided into meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. So here, let's see what is meristematic tissue. Open your book, page number 69. You can see here. Meristematic tissues are tissues which occur only in the specific region of the plant, and they have the dividing capacity. Due to this dividing capacity, they are called as meristematic tissue. They are located only at these points, like apical, intercalary, lateral meristem. I'll explain here what will be there. So before moving on to this, let's I'm telling something about this activity. Okay, just do it at your home and see what you have seen. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to take 2 jars and 2 onion bulb you have to keep in the jar, and you have to fill them with water. Okay, name it as one and name another as second one, 2. Okay, you have to observe the growth in the root of both the bulb of the onion. Okay, every day you have to measure. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, you have to measure every day. After 2 to 3 days, cut down one of the on day 4. Okay, cut the root tip of the onion bulb in the jar 2 by 1 centimeter or so. So, and let it be for the 5 days. You keep it like that, and after the 5 days, just observe these questions. You have to see which of the 2 onion has the longer roots. So which will have the longer roots? Can you just imagine? We have cutted the roots of jar 2 onion bulb, and we have kept the root of jar 1 onion bulb as it is, uncut. Okay, that's why onion in the jar 1 will have the longer roots, because root tips were uncut here, hence the growth did not disturb. Second question was, what's that? Do the root continue to grow even after we have removed the tips? No, because tips have the meristematic tissue. Without the meristematic tissue, it won't grow again. So next question is that only. Why would the tips stop growing in the jar 2 after when we cut them? Because the tips were removed, and which has the apical meristem. Which has apical meristem. Okay. The meristematic cells divide frequently and give rise to new cells, and hence they need to replace, they need to grow, and they need to divide rapidly. Okay, so depending on the area of location, depending on the part where they are locating, a meristematic tissue are divided into apical meristem, lateral meristem, and intercalary meristem. Apical meristem will be at the tips of the, see here, at the tips, apical meristem, mostly at the tips of the root and at the tips of the stem. Okay, and they increase the length of the stem, apical meristem. Next is lateral meristem. Lateral means what? At the site. See here, diagram 6.2. See this diagram. The lateral meristems will be found here. Okay, at the lateral sides of the stem. So what does it do? It increases the girth of the plant. Girth means it widens the plant. Like plant is becoming fat and fat after some few years. We observe like the stem of the plant, how does it grow? Though it increases the girth of the plant. What increases? Lateral meristem increases the girth of the plant. Apical meristem increases the length of the stem and length of the root. Next is intercalary meristem. Intercalary meristem are found between the nodes and internodes, like at the tip of the leaf. Intercalary meristem. So intercalary meristems are at the base of the leaves or internodes. Okay, between internodes. Nodes are the area where the leaves are found, and internodes means like it is the space between two nodes. It is a space between two nodes is called as internodes, and at the tip of the leaf and at the end of the internode, one internode node will be there, right? At that part we are finding intercalary meristem. Okay, on the either side of the node or twig we are finding intercalary meristem. So these are types of meristematic tissue. Okay, apical meristem on the tips, which increases this length of the stem and length of the root, and lateral meristem, two sides, at the two lateral sides, which increases the girth of the plant, and intercalary meristem, that is also known as cambium. It will found at the base of the leaf or base of the internodes. Okay. And these meristematic cells are very active. They have dense, see, these meristematic cells are very active. They have dense cytoplasm and thin cellulose wall. The cell wall is very thin here in meristematic tissue. And they have prominent nuclei. Also they lack vacuole. Why do they lack vacuole? Why do they lack vacuole? There is a question, right? So, because meristematic tissue, meristematic cell has to divide and divide again. Frequently they have to divide and give rise to new cells, and hence they have to, they need to have dense cytoplasm. Cytoplasm must be dense and thin cell wall. Cytoplasm must be dense and cell wall must be thin, because it has to rapidly grow. It has to rapidly grow. That's why they don't have vacuole. Vacuole is not needed, because vacuole is what? Vacuole, they have cell sap in it. Okay, vacuole will be having cell sap stored in it. They don't want any stored food. They want the nutrient to grow and grow again. Meristematic cells do not need to store the nutrient, and as they have the compact shape, also. Okay, vacuole provide the turgidity and rigidity, so they don't need to have the turgidity and rigidity here. They want a dense cytoplasm, so that they want the nutrient to grow again and again. That's why vacuole is absent in the meristematic tissue. Okay, again, what will be happening to these meristematic tissue? What will be happening when they are once formed? What happens to the cell formed by the division of meristematic tissue? What does they do? They take up a specialized function or a specialized role and lose the ability to divide. They lose the ability to divide and they take up a specialized function. This process is called as differentiation. Differentiation, we can say it. Okay, what does the meristematic tissue? Once divided, they take up a specific role in the plant and lose the ability to divide. They are forming a permanent tissue, you can say. Okay, from meristematic tissue to permanent tissue, which process? Differentiation. So now just go through once here: plant tissue, meristematic tissue, permanent tissue, and meristematic tissue are of three types depending on the place where it is situated, that is apical meristem, lateral meristem and intercalary meristem. Permanent tissue are of two types, simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissue is again divided into parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Inshallah we will learn about it. Okay, and complex permanent tissue is divided into xylem and phloem. Okay, so we will learn next about permanent tissue inshallah in our next class. So Allah Hafiz for today. Inshallah we will meet again with next part of the chapter. So if you like my teaching, don't forget to subscribe my channel. Allah Hafiz. Jazakallah khair.